Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Becky if you didn't already know, and today I'm going to be talking a bit about what my essentials are for buying for twins. I suppose it applies to singletons or multiples, but these are the things that I absolutely use every single day and could not live without. So I think top of my list is the Tommee tippee prep machine. Absolutely love this, best thing I've ever bought. When I had my first daughter, these things didn't even exist. It's an absolute godsend. Makes a bottle in 2 minutes flat. That is amazing. When you've got two babies screaming in the middle of the night, you haven't got time to boil the kettle, let it cool. I mean, some mums may be on it, may wake up, well before, know exactly when their babies are going to feed and think, yeah, I can make a bottle that way, or make them and put them in the fridge. That's not how I do it. I like to make them fresh every time, and my twins, especially when they first came home, wasn't on a set schedule, would often wake up at different times. So the Tommee tippee prep machine was amazing. I'd come downstairs, make 2 bottles in 4 minutes. Bob's your uncle. Absolutely love that. The bottles are not only made so quickly, they're made to the right temperature so the twins can drink them straight away, and it just saves so much time and energy. Twin feeding pillow, I could not live without my twin feeding pillow. It's got a space for both twins to go on so I can feed them both at the same time. Feeding them can take up to an hour sometimes, especially if they suffer with reflux or they're young and so they drink slowly. Absolute godsend again. Feed them both together, saves you time. I haven't got 2 hours to be feeding one twin, then feeding the next twin, and then you're back to feeding them again. Feed them together, brilliant. Bottles. I actually wasted a lot of money in terms of bottles when I was pregnant. I went out and bought all Tommee tippee bottles to match all my Tommee tippee prep machine, but the twins were premature, so they didn't take to the Tommee tippee bottles because the teats were too hard for them. I had to go out and buy MAM bottles in the end, which the teats were a lot softer. But in terms of bottles, think how many are you going to need? You've got 2 babies. Initially, you're not going to be having time to constantly wash bottles. You're probably going to want to wash bottles maybe 2-3 times a day rather than after every feed. And it may be that the babies are going to want more or less each time. You don't know. At the minute, my twins are 12 weeks old. They're having a bottle every 4 hours. That's 12 bottles a day. So I know that I need at least, at the minute, I need at least 12 bottles. So make sure you've got plenty of bottles in the house. Another major thing is car seats. When I was pregnant, we went to a shop, to have a look round for a pram, have a look round for car seats. And what I wanted to do was make sure that I could hold 2 car seats at the same time, because you're going to be holding 2 babies at the same time at some point. It's inevitable. You're not going to get away from it. You may well have a partner who can help you, but they're not always going to be there. At some point, you're going to be on your own with 2 babies. You're going to need to get them in and out of that car, and it's difficult, especially when they're young. You're going to want to carry them both together. You're not really going to want to leave, one of them in the house if you've got to go to the car, especially if it's quite far. You need to make sure you've got lightweight car seats. So that's something that it took me quite a while to do, and I tested no end. Sometimes the cheaper car seats are actually lighter. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily worse. You're often paying for the brand or whatnot. We've got a Joey car seats. They're really, really lightweight. I think there was about £60 each. I'll double check. Absolutely amazing. So light. The car seats that actually matched my pram was so heavy I could barely lift one of them. So they were out the question. Definitely, more than anything, you need light car seats. I think my final tip for today is your pram. That's something that you really need to think about. I use my pram more than I drive now. It's so much easier to put the twins in a pram and go for a walk to wherever I need to go, to the doctors, the chemist, the shop quickly. It's so much easier to walk than to get them both in their car seats, get them in the car, go to the place, get them out the car. If I need to take the pram, get the pram out the car and then get them out. It's hard. So think about your pram. You want something that's lightweight, something that you're going to manoeuvre. There's different types, one where you can have one twin on top of the other or next to each other. I went for next to each other because I wanted to be able to see them both. I was concerned that, oh my God, if I've got one that's at the bottom and one that's at the top, how do I choose who goes where? Some people like those prams because they're a lot easier to fit through doorways. Personally, I wanted a pram that would fit side by side, and so I've got the Bugaboo Donkey Twin. It's really lightweight in terms of pushing it around. You barely know that you're doing it. You can push the twins with one arm whilst you're on the phone, you know, or reading a text or something. It's really lightweight. The only downside to it is it doesn't fit through the doors in my house, so I have to take it apart and to bring it in and out of the house. But it does fit through most shop doorways that are obviously bigger to fit wheelchairs in. I think a lot of new builds will be able to fit through the doorways because their doorways are wider for wheelchair access, but I live in an older house, so the doorways are smaller. But definitely make sure you think about what pram you want. There are some prams out there for twins if you look into it. Some of them, again, might be quite heavy. If you're on your own and you're lifting that in and out of the car or taking it to bits so you can fit in the car, you need to make sure that it's easy and simple. And so that's a really big consideration.